Now, I'm not against big ideas. I like big ideas. I like big ideas that change the world. And I mean, and this is not my quote, but it's a fundamental truth that people consume media despite the advertising, not because of it. Okay? They tolerate advertising, and they will accept brilliant advertising. Not my quote, don't interrupt the thing I'm interested in, be the thing I'm interested in. That is really what the game is all about now. Now, I'm going to show you a series of images which may be offensive, okay, but they make a point. The first set of images that you will see are for a magazine ad. I think TBWA won a Cannes Award for this for a couple of years ago. Visualize a men's magazine, visualize the center spread being glued together. Okay, you with me? And as you force it, now you might find that image offensive. I would argue it's not as offensive as the reason we had to make the ad in the first place. If you have to force it, it's called rape. Okay? Was it lowball? Okay. Now, what do you want? Do you want me? I can tell you this is a cost-inefficient ad. I can show you the efficiencies of buying a whole bunch of single-page ads. I'll put more X's on your spreadsheet. But what do you want? Were you not moved by this? I'm devastated. I'm offended as a man that people have to make ads to teach me this kind of lesson. I'm deeply moved by this ad. I just had the pleasure recently to go to the Olympics where Adidas were the global sponsors. Not that you would know it, because Nike kind of hijacked the thing with simple people being better than themselves. If you've ever had the chance to go to the Olympics, you'll know that that's what it's all about. So find your own personal greatness. And so when I go into the tube, I find a mirror which says, greatness looks just like you. And I get to star in the Nike Olympic campaign. It's not as cost efficient, I can assure you, as just putting up a poster. But what do you want? Do you want me to have a lifetime memory, or do you want to count the nominal exposure that I've had? I had the pleasure of being at Cannes too, and I must just comment in passing that it's really interesting. When I first went to Cannes, that had been preceded by 20 years of saying, pigs will fly before we will allow the media scum in here to soil our sacred, kind of chapels of creative worship. So we get media awards. When I was at the Media Awards, it was like 2003, they said pigs will fly before we have such a sordid thing as advertising that works. Isn't that funny? Last year for the first time and this year for the second time, we have a category at Cannes called creative advertising that works. But when I was there, this campaign offended me. You can't see the copy, but that's what it says. Support the Friends of the Gay Newspaper Foundation. Now, let me explain when I say offend. It is the logic of this ad that offends me. You have an organization that has one purpose and one purpose only, which is to prevent sexual stereotyping. So we have an ad which sexually stereotypes in order to raise money for an organization that has only one purpose in life, which is to prevent sexual orientation. That kind of logic offends me. See, big ideas are actually not always good ideas. And I think this is something that media and creative people kind of differentiate on. Last few slides. If I look at it today and I think, well, how would I go about planning this thing? I try to visualize media this way. Take a stone and drop it in a pond. What do you get? You get concentric circles that ripple outwards until they touch something. A tree, a bank, a stone, whatever, and they ripple back. They give you a cause and effect. So if I take a brand like Pepsi, when I worked in it, had the most marvelous global target market, one target market for the world, a 13-year-old that wants to be 17. Can you visualize it? Don't need LSMs, that's it. 13-year-olds who want to be 17. If I drop Pepsi into the pond, what do I get? Well, I could construct an argument which says radio, I could construct an argument which said cinema, I could construct an argument which talked about music, television, gaming, Facebook, social media, etc. I can assure you, I can construct an argument by counting heads, which shows you that 1 in 4 Pepsi consumers also read Heat magazine, and I'll get you a discount. But the truth of the matter is, and I'll call this proximity-based planning, if I drop Pepsi into that thing, what is the one point of contact? What's closest to a teenager? Do any of you have teenagers? Do you know what's closest to them? If you're not on Mix-It, or if you're not on BBM, you're wasting your time. Okay? This is the problem. When we look at this event horizon, which we had previously assumed to be the counting of heads, it led us into this kind of thought process. You get media, you build the reach. So we had a nice curve that built up. You add a medium, you add another medium. Say, please buy me, please buy me. Shh, look how differently I'm saying this. You remember how boring we were? Probably fabulous now. And then we get the reach. Wow, we've hit the target, 75% reach. Whoop, whoop. Right, cool. Then we say, how much money do we have left over? Right, 20% of the budget left over. So we will start to do things. So what are these things, you know? No, why are we doing this? Well, the clients will tell me, they work. Really? They work? What about the other stuff? No, but this stuff really, really works. So my question is this: if this stuff really, really works, and by which I mean the following. Okay. You've probably all seen this, but it's worth watching again.